Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Judge or regard. Look upon, judge. I think he is very smart. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. I can't think what her last name was. Have in mind as a purpose. She didn't think to harm me. Expect, believe, or suppose. He didn't think to find her in the kitchen. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. I've been thinking all day and getting nowhere. An instance of deliberate thinking. I need to give it a good think. Bring into a given condition by mental preoccupation. Decide by pondering, reasoning, or reflecting. Can you think what to do next? Dispose the mind in a certain way. Do you really think so? Focus one's attention on a certain state. Think thin. Have or formulate in the mind. Think good thoughts. Imagine or visualize. Just think you could be rich one day. Ponder. Reflect on, or reason about. Be capable of conscious thought. Man is the only creature that thinks. Judge or regard. Look upon, judge. I believe her to be very smart. Be confident about something. I believe that he will come back from the war. Accept as true. Take to be true. I believed his report. Credit with veracity. You cannot believe this man. Follow a credo. Have a faith. Be a believer. When you hear his sermons, you will be able to believe, too. Judge or regard. Look upon, judge. The racist conceives such people to be inferior. Have the idea for. He conceived of a robot that would help paralyzed patients. Become pregnant. Undergo conception. She cannot conceive. Show consideration for. Take into account. You must consider her age. Give careful consideration to. Consider the possibility of moving. Judge or regard. Look upon, judge. Look at carefully. Study mentally. Think about carefully. Weigh. They considered the possibility of a strike. Look at attentively. Take into consideration for exemplifying purposes. Deem to be. I consider her to be shallow. Regard or treat with consideration, respect, and esteem. Please consider your family. Cause to be returned. The manufacturer tried to call back the spoilt yogurt. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. Summon to return. Return or repeat a telephone call. I am busy right now. Can you call back in an hour? Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. Call up memories. Bring forward for consideration. Call to arms. Of military personnel. Get or try to get into communication with someone by telephone. Cause to become available for use, either literally or figuratively. An order to report for military duty. Cause to be returned. Recall the defective auto tires. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. Call to mind. Go back to something earlier. Summon to return. The ambassador was recalled to his country. The process of remembering, especially the process of recovering information by mental effort. He has total recall of the episode. A request by the manufacturer of a defective product to return the product, as for replacement or repair. A bugle call that signals troops to return. A call to return. The recall of our ambassador. Cause one's, or someone else's, thoughts or attention to return from a reverie or digression. She was recalled by a loud laugh. Make unavailable. Bar from sale or distribution. The company recalled the product when it was found to be faulty. The act of removing an official by petition. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. Keep in mind for attention or consideration. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. I can't remember saying any such thing. Mention as by way of greeting or to indicate friendship. Call to remembrance. Keep alive the memory of someone or something, as in a ceremony. We remembered the 50th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Recapture the past. Indulge in memories. He remembered how he used to pick flowers. Exercise, or have the power of, memory. After the shelling, many people lost the ability to remember. Mention favorably, as in prayer. Remember me in your prayers. Show appreciation to. He remembered her in his will. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. Get or find back. Recover the use of. Go for and bring back. Retrieve the car from the parking garage. Run after, pick up, and bring to the master. Train the dog to retrieve. Denote or connote. Have in mind as a purpose. Design or destine. She was intended to become the director. Mean or intend to express or convey. What do his words intend? Used of sums of money, so small in amount as to deserve contempt. Intend to refer to. Yes, I meant you when I complained about people who gossip. Marked by poverty befitting a beggar. A mean hut. Of no value or worth. Denote or connote. Maison means house in French. Have as a logical consequence. The water shortage means that we have to stop taking long showers. Used of persons or behavior, characterized by or indicative of lack of generosity. A mean person. An average of n numbers computed by adding some function of the numbers and dividing by some function of n. Approximating the statistical norm or average or expected value. The mean annual rainfall. Have in mind as a purpose. I mean no harm. Having or showing an ignoble lack of honor or morality. Taking a mean advantage. Mean or intend to express or convey. You never understand what I mean. Characterized by malice. In a mean mood. destine or designate for a certain purpose. These flowers were meant for you. Excellent. Famous for a mean backhand. An estimate based on little or no information. Guess correctly. Solve by guessing. He guessed the right number of beans in the jar and won the prize. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. Expect, believe, or suppose. I guess she is angry at me for standing her up. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. Put forward, of a guess, in spite of possible refutation. I am guessing that the price of real estate will rise again. Form a mental image of something that is not present or that is not the case. Expect, believe, or suppose. I imagine she earned a lot of money with her new novel. Expect, believe, or suppose. Express one's opinion openly and without fear or hesitation. Have faith or confidence in. Judge to be probable. Take account of. You have to reckon with our opponents. Expect, believe, or suppose. Deem to be. Make a mathematical calculation or computation. Express a supposition. Take for granted or as a given, suppose beforehand. I presuppose that you have done your work. To believe especially on uncertain or tentative grounds. Scientists supposed that large dinosaurs lived in swamps. Expect, believe, or suppose. Require as a necessary antecedent or precondition. This step presupposes two prior ones. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. Consider carefully and deeply. Reflect upon. Turn over in one's mind. Recapture the past. Indulge in memories. Reflect deeply on a subject. Devise or invent. Consider carefully and rationally. Form a critical opinion of. How do you evaluate this grant proposal? Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. Form a critical opinion of. We shouldn't pass judgment on other people. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. Pronounce judgment on. Form a critical opinion of. I cannot judge some works of modern art. An authority who is able to estimate worth or quality. Put on trial or hear a case and sit as the judge at the trial of. The judge tried both father and son in separate trials. A public official authorized to decide questions brought before a court of justice. Determine the result of a competition. Regard something as probable or likely. The meteorologists are expecting rain for tomorrow. Consider obligatory. Request and expect. I expect my students to arrive in time for their lessons. Look forward to the probable occurrence of. We were expecting a visit from our relatives. Be pregnant with. They are expecting another child in January. consider reasonable or due. I'm expecting a full explanation as to why these files were destroyed. Look forward to the birth of a child. She is expecting in March. Regard something as probable or likely. Make a prediction about. Tell in advance. Be excited or anxious about. Act in advance of. Deal with ahead of time. Realize beforehand. Be a forerunner of or occur earlier than. This composition anticipates Impressionism. Careful consideration. Planning something carefully and intentionally. It was the deliberation of his act that was insulting. Careful consideration. A little deliberation would have deterred them. A rate demonstrating an absence of haste or hurry. The trait of thoughtfulness in action or decision. He was a man of judicial deliberation. Usually plural, discussion of all sides of a question. The deliberations of the jury. Careful consideration.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.